hello. And your girl, Sasha, for another episode of Night Talks with Sasha. I was just about to let that whole song play. I'm sorry. I got caught up doing what I was doing. Okay, so it's the day after Thanksgiving. Are y'all full? Are you still full from all that carby food that you ate? I know I am. So we're at home. It's cold out. You spent all your money. So come on in. Just come on in the room and let's talk about some stuff. Let's just have a good moment. Let's have a conversation. Talk about it. We're not talking about you spending all your money, but we are going to talk about HPS magazine. And so we have the editor and CEO of HPS magazine, Deidre Gibbs. Deidre is was that place for a little bit now, for a couple of years now. We met through a mutual friend, and she started her magazine back up, and she interviewed me. And I was like, oh, I should bring you on my podcast. Well, life was life, okay? In between that, cancer, widowhood, and just life. But here we are. We are doing it finally. Sometimes good things have to wait. It's worth it. And now we're going to pull from a page of my personal book, Thriving in Spite of, because Deidre has gone through her own personal struggles and her own health scares and triumphs. So we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. And before that, I wanted to say I had a few announcements, and then we're going to get into, let me clean up my house first. I should have did it before y'all got here, but, caught me off guard. Okay, so February of 2024, Sasha's Playpen is coming back. If you are a poet, a spoken word artist, and you need a place to perform, cut your teeth, you've never performed before, you've never let anyone hear your poetry, come to my show. I did it last year, had an author that came in. He had never performed anywhere before. He was always a little nervous, a little apprehensive about letting people, he was sensitive about his ish. Okay? He came in, did Sasha's Playpen, and now he is hosting shows. He is everywhere, got his latest book in a bookstore. So come on. Come on over here to my house. Come on over to Sasha's Playpen and let us hear your work. So that's happening in February for Valentine's. If you are interested, if you know someone that is interested, please have them email me at nighttalkswithsasha69@gmail.com, and then put in the subject head, attention, Sasha's Playpen. That will give me radar that you're a poet, and I got to get to you right away. If you don't put that up in there, I don't know. I'll try to get to you, but that's all I got to say. So please put attention, Sasha's Playpen. And that way I will know to look for you, look at that email, and reply to you immediately, because I'm working diligently to get this done before February. Christmas is almost here. Then we got a whole month of January. But I want to get my poets and everything in line, in order before that. So that we can be setting up that communication and getting that rapport before. That's just how I handle my business. Okay? So if you are interested, do that for me. Also, we got some, oh my God. I'm not going to tell y'all. I can't tell you. But your girl got somebody coming, like, the first of the new year in January. Yeah. It's going to be big. It's going to be big. Now, y'all seen her. She's everywhere right now. She is a social influencer. She's really popular right now. Everyone is trying to get a piece of her. But I'm the first podcast that she's doing. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me compose myself. I'm the first podcast that she's doing. She's wanting to do others, but, they just couldn't work with her and have worked with her schedule. I'm telling y'all, like, email people, like DMing on Instagram and all that good stuff is great. It works. But there's nothing like an email. It's personal because we don't do letters anymore. It's personal. So if you got something out there or someone that you want to put on your podcast or you want to talk to, send them an email. If you can send them an email to their email address, do that, okay? Because you don't know. You never know. But without further ado, I guess. Hello, Deidre.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good, girl. I had to do a little housekeeping a little bit. I do a little announcements I do some announcements at the beginning of the show, and then we go into, that's like the appetizer, and then we go into the meat of the discussion. Then right? So,
gotcha.
How was your Thanksgiving? Did you cook a lot?
Surprisingly, no. I did not cook a lot this year. I just made 2 dishes. I know. From 22 dishes to 2. I just did 2 dishes this year.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Shocking, I know.
Very much so. Because I was expecting
I know.
5 cakes.
Almost. But no, my family decided to all contribute and everybody bring something. So I'm like, okay, you say so.
Well,
I'm going to stick with these 2 and just let it be.
Yeah. I'll be watching your page. Yeah, I'll be watching your page. Watch what you cooking, and I'll be like, okay, let me see what Deidre cooking for Christmas. What's she baking for Christmas and for Thanksgiving and just any other time? Because you are a baker, right?
Yeah, I call myself the amateur baker. Definitely.
Amateur baker, yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not the best
decorator,
but I do know my flavors. I am good with flavors.
You are. Because some of them are, I was like, I want to taste that. I remember that year you did, what was that cake you did? It was like a rainbow cake or something?
Was it recently?
No, it was a while back.
I think it was an inspiration picture then. It was just getting ideas.
Oh, you didn't do? Oh, okay.
Oh yes, I'm thinking rainbow. I have one rainbow cake coming to my head, and that was an inspirational picture.
Okay, I thought you did that cake. Okay, I might be wrong then. I thought you did a rainbow cake like 1 year for your birthday. You did a rainbow.
Oh, the one with the flowers and like a garden scene. That was the one. Yeah, that's what I did. That was this past May.
Okay.
Not this May, but the one before. Yeah, it was like a garden scene with butterflies all around it. Yeah, that was the one I did.
Yes, I remember that. Okay, I thought it was a rainbow. And the cake, what color was the cake on it? Wasn't it colored on the inside?
The frosting was the filling was colored, but it was like a white lemon cake when it had I think it was purple, like a purple cream cheese frosting.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe that's why I thought it was rainbow. Cause I don't know. I got that confused. I'm sorry, but I know that you do a lot of baking. Yeah, I know you do a lot of
Yeah, that's my norm, especially for Thanksgiving. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Holiday. So I always usually go out.
Yeah, you do, and then you usually do your own cake for your birthday.
Right, exactly. So I'll post stuff to like get idea. Okay, what should I do this year? Because that was the first time I had edible flowers and butterflies and stuff all over it.
It was beautiful, though. I remember that.
Thank
it was
you.
Beautiful. It was a very pretty cake.
Thank you.
So we're gonna get. You're welcome. We're gonna get into the conversation about HPS magazine and why did you come up with it? I mean, I got quite a few questions. So the first question that I came up with was the name. Where did the name HPS come from?
HPS started out honoring Poets Society because it started out for here in Houston for the poetry scene. Because at the time there was a lot of changing to where our regular spots were changing a lot, and a lot of people didn't know where to go or how to, showcase their work. And so I came up with the idea, and I was referring it to a friend, and a poet and host named John Kemp decided to go on the mic and promote it that it's coming out. So to put some, like, that's a great idea. Let's get this started. I'm like, why, thank you. And that's how it officially got started.
Okay.
And through the time, HPS just went from honoring Poetic Society to just honoring Positivity Society. So through the years, it just got the meaning just changed a little bit. We broadened it.
Okay. Because now, let's see, I came up with my own thoughts. I thought it had something. No, I wasn't dirty, but I thought it had something to do with because you are in Houston, Texas. I thought it had something to do with Houston.
Well, yeah,
I don't know what
a lot
I
of people did that a lot. But one thing I could say at that time back in the day, because it started back in 2005, I did travel a little bit with dealing with poetry, so I got to be able to broaden it. See, and there was people who were from other states who always wanted to know what was, where was the spots if they came to Houston, where could they go? So it was like, so it became the Houston's, the poetry, what's the word I want to say? Like phone book. Like, here's where you can find it.
Oh, okay. So that's like, in Atlanta, they used to have this paper out called, you ever saw it? It's called The Creative Loafing. And you ever heard of that one?
No, but it doesn't surprise me. Because I think a lot of different states, a lot of places have their own version to, to help around. Because it's sad to say, when poetry spots they're good, but they don't ever get to stay good. Not all of them get to stay that way. So they relocate to where, this place is letting poets perform. but it's only for a short amount of time, because if they don't meet the whoever owner's quota for how much they bring in or drinks or whatever, that they're going to cut that opening act out. So they got to find another location. Mm-hmm. So when I created a place where you didn't have to worry about traveling to where if you wanted, okay, you can do your poetry here. And it was, since it was on paper back then, it had subscribers. So that way people get to see your work. But it goes every which way to whatever state, not just Houston. So that's how I got started. But as time went on, it just got broader and broader to where there was more subjects, things to put inside of it.
Yeah, because I know you talked to, you've done interviews with people. I know the one that you said that you were proud of is that you did during the pandemic, 2020. You interviewed someone for was a part of the movement with George Floyd.
Oh, Sharita McGee. Yes, she was she's one of his family members. A lot of people saw her on the news, Good Morning America, and any other news when all that was started, to where there's a foundation, where they created the foundation in his name. Yeah, she's over that. And the sad part is I worked with her for about 5 years. We worked together. So it wasn't
and
like
you didn't never know.
Yeah, I didn't know until it happened with him. And I was like, okay.
Wow. Yeah, I remember you were telling me, we talked during that, right before all that happened, and you were saying how you were so proud of that interview. So I know that when you say it has expanded, it really has expanded from poetry to artists,
yes, we have
activists.
Cooking Broke. We have recipes. I still keep the name Cooking Broke too, because it's just a second version of the first. Then it has the arts. It has. Sometimes I still do the brothers' view, the sisters' view. Sometimes the youth view, a way to communicate between each other. With why do guys do this and girls do this, and how to understand our youth of today. Each one gives a different explanation to behaviors to help you understand it, to be able to understand each other.
Yeah.
So I have those aspects. Yes, the interviews, I get excited with each and every one. And sometimes it's funny looking back from the very first issue to now, to see how many interviews I've done. It's just exactly. It's just a wow moment, because I look at some of them who, from when I did that first interview to where they are now. I'm like, I have somebody who was in a boy band back in the day, and now he's a director of movies. You see on BET or at AMC. And then there's Tony Award winners who's been to the White House both times for Obama, because Obama wanted him, and that's a poet. So to get these
big,
exactly, from basically a no name. Because a lot of people would be nice to people know me, but a lot of people don't know about HPS, because I deal with individuals. I don't deal. I deal with independent artists. I'll say that. Normally, I usually deal with independent people trying or doing getting up to be on E! News and all those other aspects. I always go for the reaching for the star, because I want to see where you start.
I do too. Yeah, I like that too. That's part of my reach and my platform as well, because I like to give people an opportunity where they don't always get an opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so that so that they could cut their teeth, and you get to hone your skills and figure out if this works or if that works, or just having another avenue of listeners and
To show
people
your
that
talent.
you exactly. Yeah, exactly.
There was one I did, and she's an artist. She does murals. She does the big art. Nobody here really knew of her. But I'm like, dude, if you pay attention to even on your Facebook, when you scrolling and you see all these fancy, these big pictures of art, that's kind of her.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 of them was her. But people don't know who that is. It's like, I like to search for the ones who okay, that's a familiar face, but you don't really know much about them. Those are the ones I want HPS will go for, because it's like getting to know somebody. So when I do my interviews, like what I did with you, it's like in a conversation forum. It's like for us to get to know you, and you let us know, okay, this is how I work to why I do what I do. Yes, I do. I have poetry. I've had all different types of performers. I've had writers. I've had poets. I have bakers. I have people who behind the camera. I have one that's basically kind of doing the same thing that we both do, to where he created his own, his own version of an MTV show, to where in a different part of Texas, where he's showcasing the community and Black-owned restaurants.
Okay.
It's just to give you the idea. Okay, this is these people out here. There's a lot of things you can see. So that's what I try to showcase. There's more than what's on the TV screen.
Yeah, or it's more than what's on Instagram, or who's getting picked up and getting put on. There are a lot of people out here that are doing things. They just need a hand up.
And some of them, even when they got famous from the Instagram or the TikToks, but you can see that, guess what? They're still humble enough, because they know this is 15 minutes of fame. It could be a year from now, nobody even remember. But at this moment, hey, I'm doing this. And with this platform that I just got, they expanded. Like the barefoot neighbor, the recipe guy. A lot of people see his videos, and they just think, okay, he shows quick and easy recipes. But a lot of people, if you pay attention, you'll see all the community work he does in Mississippi. He does a lot for a program that helps children and families, and all this volunteer work that he does.
Yeah.
But normally, that's like awesome. Normally if you get a chance to see somebody, you can see, okay, sometimes there's a little bit more than just what that spotlight that draws the attention. You get to see what inspires them to do what they do, and how they use it.
To motivate and keep going. And, I like that. Yeah. I like that. And I get that. 'Cause, again, that's what I like to use my platform for. A woman that is plus size and disabled, you see women like myself and you, but they don't always have a place where their voice is center or front. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
Yeah, and so it's that's why I like what I do, and the fact that it's coming from another point of view, and it is one of the reasons why I now put I didn't used to put my face out there, but I realized that for me to be impactful and for me to say and do what I need to do and what I want to do with my platform and my voice, then people are going to have to see me as well. And so it's making me come from behind the, yeah. Do you see that? Does that happen for you? Has that happened for you as well? That you've had to, you realize that you've had to.
Yeah, because if you go to my page, you'll see there is no logo. No, what you see on there is me. You'll see my face. And I'm normally as blunt and honest as all these things. I normally am not the first one to be like, hey, look at me. I wasn't.
Yeah.
But if I know that I'm going to get people to feel comfortable coming to me or, sharing their work or whatever, I got to be vulnerable myself. And I'm like, this is me. That's why there's no underlying header to HPS. There's no, I'm like, every little part, that's me. You see me. If I'm going to want you to be vulnerable and come to my site and do interviews or give your work or whatever the reason is, you got to be able to trust it. And the way it is on the internet, it's like you have to show that you know what you're doing, one, but you got to show like, okay, you're talking to a real person that's not trying to scam you. So you see my face. So if you got anything to say, it ain't be like, oh, this logo or whatever, this person said this. I'm like, no, you got to see. If it doesn't have this face on it, you're not on the right HPS. Yeah, I have to showcase myself to show I'm willing to put myself out there for you to come to me. It's a give and take.
It is. It really is. And I've noticed for myself since I have done that I have been received more. And I get more, I want to say traction, but I get more reception and I get more people looking than I have before, when I first started, because I've been doing this since 2012 and I didn't really show myself. I did at first, but then I got some weirdos in my stuff, and I was like, let me lock it down. Yeah. But it was also the type of, you should be able to do whatever, but you also have to be cognizant of
you got to get a thick skin and you got to get ready for it. Because no matter what you do, there's going to be some hate. There's going to be some negativity. So, and by putting yourself out there, just one, by being black, then you're a female. And then the third time, you're a big female, as said, you have to make sure your skin is extra thick.
Yep.
Because there's stuff that's going to come at you, period. And especially if you're doing the way things are now, being online, either through websites or even doing podcasts, you're putting yourself out there, and you know that there's going to be some hate. And people will try to use whatever they can. And that's the main thing they're going to see. And if all they got is what they see, they're going to see a black female, and she's overweight, because they're not going to try to pay attention to anything else. That's all they're going to hit after. But that's why I say haters are going to hate. But reality is there's more people who care than the haters, because all they're doing is just trying to make a way on your platform to get noticed.
That's it. That's absolutely it.
So you have to get thick skin to just giggle it off, because I'm like, you got to go that far when you could have just said, hey, and I would have gave you a shout out. But oh well, peace.
Exactly. Block.
Exactly.
Peace block. I mean, yeah, and my husband used to say that. He used to tell me that. He used to say exactly what you said, and I was like, no, why do they even have to say those things? Like, that wasn't even necessary. And he was like, they gonna eat you alive. You gotta reevaluate, because if you keep, yeah,
there will always be someone that's gonna try, and I take it as when if you only get one hate, I'm like, okay, that means I need to step up more, because the more you're getting hate on, that means the more you're doing something, because there's too many people trying to stop it. And I'm like, if you're not doing anything that's gonna make anything, nothing's gonna come out of it. Nobody's gonna put that much interest into it to try to bring it down. So I look forward to the hate. That just tells me I'm on the right path.
It motivates you.
I have to, because I'm like, why am I gonna let somebody who can't even once, if they can't spell, they're not willing to show their face, or even if you try to respond back to them in a polite way, they don't want to respond back because they don't want the attention that they created, because they didn't have nothing else to think of to have respond back to anything. Why give them the energy?
True.
That's why I think you have to have a thick skin, but you also have to have a thick brain, because you're gonna have to use your brain to think of different ways to get under their skin. And the best way to get under their skin is to continue doing what you're doing, despite their actions.
Absolutely. I'll keep that in mind as I go forward.
Yes. Thank you.
Because, like I said, and I'm getting better. I think now, this time around, I'm a little older and I'm a little seasoned. And so I have a better grasp of it, and I know how now to move around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I've had a few people. I had a few, not a lot, but I've had a few as of late. But everyone as of lately has been very accepting, and I have not gotten a lot of negativity online. I just feel like right now at this time. Huh?
I say you so lucky.
Well, now wait. Right now.
I was like,
After January, we will see. We will see. Because right now I'm not on a lot of people's radar.
But that's the fun part about it. But not being on the radar, that makes the best impact. Because everybody don't think about certain somebody was like, oh, they're the underdogs. But if they ever pay attention to, no matter what in life, if it's sports, if it's at work, whatever field, who always shines? The underdogs.
Underdogs.
Because you don't pay attention to them, but they're paying attention to you. They're watching what you're doing. They haven't sprouted out as big as you yet, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to shine. And when they shine, you're going to be looking stupid, because it's like, oh, you didn't give them any credit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a lot of what is going on, with me, because I'm rebuilding. And and I'm actually loving the fact that I am having to rebuild my audience because now that I'm rebuilding it and I'm doing it better than what I did before, and I'm taking my time.
Yes, you get to. Yes, it's a growth. You grow, and your project grows.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how it went from HPS. HPS was paper based. That meant people would subscribe, and they would. I mean, I dealt with printing. We in the beginning of that thing that was stapled at home. That's how that thing started. But then it worked itself up to looking like books, then to a magazine, and then with all the changing of the time, it had to go from that to online. So that's a big learning curve.
Yeah.
So that right there, that's for anything.
I was gonna get into that because I remember when we were talking, you said that it was a book. You know, it was an actual physical magazine, and now you do it online. So I was wanting to know. You said that you had subscribers when it was a physical magazine. How long was it a physical magazine? How many years was that? Because I know you stopped at a point.
It started in, I want to say, late 2005 to early 2006. And it started, first it just started in the Houston poetry scene. And it slowly worked itself up to where it was going to people in different states. And it was like some people who I met through poetry, like if I went to a national, because there's a thing called slam, it's competitive poetry. That was where I broadened up a little bit more and I made connections. And then from other people to where it was going from here in Texas to California to next thing you know, it was doing international. It was growing to the point where I can say, yes, there's issues that made it to Nepal. There's been issues. I still remember where I was when I got the order for the Philippines. I was like, wow, no, that was insane. But it traveled, but it had to. When did it stop? Now, I want to say it was about less than three years ago. I had to stop it because basically I had the people on my team were dropping off because they were going to do their own projects, which I've always was like, okay, that's fine, but just give me the heads up, and I didn't get it. So I had to reboot myself and figure out, okay, how I'm going to do this, because it was getting so big, and I was always trying to maintain it because it was just me. Then that first issue brought a lot of volunteers, so it was really a community thing when it was on paper. But when I decided to bring it to a blog, I was able to realize, okay, I can pretty much do this on my own. I don't have to, and not have that fear of somebody not pulling through, not doing what they said they were going to do. So it started there, and about 2 years ago, and it's just been to the point growing like it did when it was on paper. So, because now it's, when I check my stats, it's in more countries. People from different, more than the few countries that I knew of when it was on paper are checking out the website, which is a big thing. Because I've had local like DJs from radio stations here in Houston to be on, and that was good. That helped me with my home base, because I was always getting different artists or people from other states, but to get it to get notarized in your home base, that's the trickiest and that's the hardest.
Yep, it is.
Oh my Lord.
I get that.
But yeah, that's one of my goals for. That's one of my goals for next year, is to try to get more local artists to put into the mix.
Mhm. Yeah, I said that as well. That next year that was something that I'm going to branch out to, and I'm to do more people locally. So I get it. Yeah, 'cause I get people like you, Texas, and I've had Atlanta, but I didn't have my first Philadelphia. I've had people on from all over, but I never had my first guest from my hometown until this past summer. So yeah, and it got some hits, but it didn't get a lot. But that's okay because the ones that did, they're like, oh, it was good.
They get surprised, and then it gets talked about. And it helps spread the word that, guess what? There's more to my city than what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like next month I got a young lady that's coming on, and she has a mobile bakery.
Oh, cool.
And she's local. Yeah, right? And I'm like,
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things, a lot of people, and the one thing I do like is that now people are looking for the local aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's, the unknown, what's a good place? They want to check out other places besides the most popular. But, like, people want to know about the small industries, the small businesses, the small, that company's doing pretty good. Hey, it's Black owned. We have to check that out. People are more interested now than they were like 10 years ago to check out.
Sure.
Okay, up and coming.
Yep.
Or just,
absolutely.
This place, it's a little hit.
And you have to know how to, and you have to know how to hit on that and make it work for you. That's why, again, I offer my platform for people to promote themselves. If you have a business, come on, promote it and let people know it's not, because if you're good at your business, then you can get business from people out of town because they're looking for you. Like, there are people that are searching. Yeah, like nail tech.
Because you saw when I made that post about giving free advertisement. Nobody believes in the word free. Everybody thinks free is a scam. I'm like, I don't have a problem. That's why I put till January. You want? Just send me the information. I have no problem. It's free. Because I've had when I used to pay people, not me pay, but I had to have people pay for advertisement when it was on paper. Do you know people tried to flirt their way out of a $6 deal?
Yeah.
$6.
I believe it.
They try to flirt that way, like that was going, like, we're gonna take that away for $6. And no, it didn't work.
No, it did not. No.
No.
I believe it. I've told people that they could advertise on my podcast. I will either write it for you or you tell me what you want to say, and through the podcast, a 2-3 minute break, and then I will do your product or whatever. And I was only going to charge, like, at that time, $5, because I'm like, okay, let me see how this is going to work and what this is going to do. Yeah. Oh.
But see, one thing I've learned is true business people, those who are really into their business,
they pay more attention because they know what it's the basic barter system that has been going down since Stone Age. You have you put your advertisement into my project. That helps promote my project, but in the same breath, it helps you. Because that means maybe you get more people coming to your project because they saw it on her project. And it's a back and forth. And it's a cheap, easy back and forth because other places, especially online, there's like there are like charges that goes up to $800 and more for advertising. And if you get charged, and just because it's a small platform doesn't mean that it can't charge a higher amount, because even depending on how they put that stuff out there, if you hit Google, guess what? It's still my name is going to pop up. Deidre Gibbs will pop up. HPS will pop up. It will show all this. So there is something there. So other people can check it out. And if they check it out, they'll go and see that you're there. And they'll order your product because you're with that project. Basic barter.
Exactly. But
that's why people, it's like this age where people are not grasping this is not new. It's been going on since we learned to trade. In this basis, you trade one thing for another, so you both win until you both get to where you can get. Like, maybe I might want to raise the price if I get more. Maybe. But that doesn't mean that, we're going to scam you.
Exactly.
It's a barter system.
People don't. Yeah. People don't trust each other anymore.
No. That's why. And that's where it comes to where we have, because of our projects, we have to be more vulnerable with thick skin to show you can trust me.
Yep.
I'm not here to try to copyright your work. I'm not here trying to build. You have something that I see that I like that I would want to put on my platform.
Exactly.
And I want you to show.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Nothing less. Nothing
more, nothing less. Exactly what it is. And that's why I just said before we started talking, like, email people. Is it someone that you want to come onto your stuff? Email them. Reach out. Tell them. Talk to them.
Oh, I go a step further. I go a step further because when I do interviews, I do email interviews. That means I send you the questions, you send me the answers. I do that for two reasons. One, it's a lot easier because everybody's in different states or whatever. And two, you have a backup of everything that I asked you. So they can't say that, I don't know where this came from, or I didn't say this. You have it in your email. So you have your copy and I have mine.
Exactly.
So it gives that level of, okay, to be trustworthy because because I'm giving you the information. Because you could easily take my questions and say, okay, and use them for something totally different towards somebody else. But I have your information and you have mine. And you don't have to worry about me changing your words, or because I tell poets, I tell anybody who submits anything, I am not changing one word of whatever you submit. Especially as a poet, changing one line will change the whole piece. I don't do that.
Nope.
If you send it, I'm printing it the exact way you send it.
Yeah,
that has been that's one reason why poets don't like submitting a lot of their work, because one, they be worried about copyright, and people want to change their line because they'll think it's a typo, and I'm like, no, it was meant to be a certain that way.
Hmm. I can understand that why they wouldn't do that, and that's why I don't send out questions often, but I will consider doing it. Now that you say that, I will consider doing that with people that I interview more. But it's have a conversation, you know, to get a rapport with a person, to see what they want to talk about, what they don't want to talk about, what they're willing to share, what they're not. Is there anything you don't want to share? Is there anything off the table? You know, everyone that I bring on the show, either I have that conversation over the phone or I'll have that conversation with them through email and messenger.
Yes.
So
as long as the conversation is had, you're good. But for me personally, since the way I do interviews, I just always, even when it was on paper, I would majority of the time do it by email. I want word for word. I do not want one person thinking I'm changing their words. The way you respond to it is the way it's going in. The only thing I might move around is the order of the questions. Because like I said, I always want my interviews to come off as a conversation, not just a Q&A. So I always feel that way.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's important because I don't know about anybody else, but I don't like being put on the spot. You know, I hate that. I hate if I say I don't want to talk about something, then I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Don't try to blindside me.
Yes. And again, it's like what you said. We have to be trustworthy. So we're out here wanting people to share their gifts. So you have to be trustworthy. I totally agree with that. Very good points. Thank you for that. You're dropping gems.
Oh, I thank you. We can just get other people to listen to us so much better.
Yeah, true. Hopefully they will. I mean, you know, we can only hope for the best.
I try.
So I wanted to get into now you know you said that and I'm nosy. If I'm being too nosy, you can tell me. I remember in our conversation you said that you had your name in lights in Australia.
Oh yeah, that's one of my proudest moments of HPS because it happened. It happened because of the magazine. It was an artist who I dealt with in the magazine. She submitted a lot of her artwork, when it was on paper. Majority of the time it was on paper. And she's from Australia. And she had won, ever since I had known her, she always won awards. And she had told me, you know, she had a recent award, and where her name was flashing through in the museum about her artwork. And I just said I wouldn't know how I would act if that would happen to me. And she went and took it to herself to have that happen. She had someone do it at the museum, and she sent me the photo of it. When I say how dumbstruck I was, when I tried to let my family and stuff know on Facebook, I couldn't even spell Australia right. That's how gobsmacked I was.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
So that happened because of the magazine. So it's like I always get little pics here and there. I say a perks from the magazine, but to me that was the biggest. That's the one where I don't ever have to feel like I have to look for somebody else to acknowledge that I'm doing a good job with it. That's my acknowledgement. And I keep that picture on, no matter how many phones I go through, I keep that picture in my phone. So whenever I have a bad day or I'm thinking, oh, it's not going well, this isn't going to happen, I look at that picture and I'm like, anything could happen. Because my name was flashing on the Museum of Fine Arts in Australia, and I've never been. And that was because of HPS.
There's nothing like having those. Having exactly. One of those moments.
Holy crap type of moments.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that is so.
Like when you meet somebody that, like if someone you've been really fond of their work and you did not know that you've been talking to that particular person for over a year, but you found out you have because of a project you were doing. There's this poet. He's been on Def Jam Poetry. I know it because I still have that Def Jam CD, and if I had my CD player still working, I would be playing it tonight. And his name is Poetry, and because his poetry is, it makes you think, but it has humor to it. It will make you laugh even when he's being serious. He can bring those types of emotions out. Now, take that emotion. That's one of my favorite of all time poets. Always has been and probably will be. Now, when I started with the Houston Poetry Team, I became a poet. I never thought I was one, but I always called myself a rookie. And I had this Facebook page, because I have a bunch of them that deals with poetry. And there was a page called You Know You're a Poet When ... And that's where you can practice your poetry, you do your one-liners, whatever. So me and my sarcastic butt was showing out on that page. And one of the people who was over it, and he liked it, whatever, and sometimes he promoted, because he's in California, about he has a showcase there. I was like, okay, that's great. Just do an interview with him. That was great. That's how I wrote, okay, this is a Tony Award winner. He's been to the White House. He's twice with Obama. He's bigger than I even thought. Still not in my head that I know this person. Until after he's done the issue of the magazine. He's on the cover. It's like all these great things. It was one day, I'm playing my CD, and the name, they announced Poetry. You know those movies when somebody walks backwards, dumb shocked because they just realized something? That was me. That whole time, it never clicked because, like, my stage name was Lady D. There's like 12 of Lady D's here in Houston. So it didn't click on me until I looked at my I was playing my CD of Def Jam, and then it connect. The person who I've been acting a plum fool to, making laugh constantly, he's helping me with my poetry, is the same person that was on the freaking DVD.
Oh, wow. So, you ain't going to tell us who he is?
His name is Poetry. His name is Poetry Smith. I mean, you can go, if you want to, you can go onto YouTube. You can look up just Poetry, and you'll see some of his shows that he did on Def Jam Poetry. And there's one where he's talking about money, and he's talking about like how he dated his girlfriend, whose name was Money, and how she acting funny. Now she don't like to hang out with him. She likes to hang out with these other people, leaving him broke. And the way that he put money in, like she cheating, like she gone, like he lost her. It makes you think about, it's relatable, but he does it in such a funny way. And I'm like, okay. I've been showing my butt off to the person I'm looking at on my screen. Yeah. It's a small world. How you got to make yourself noticeable. And he still laughs to this day when I tell him, I'm like, you do know you made a poet speechless. But yes, you got to. There's always going to be some type of perk. And I always tell people to not forget the small achievements, because that's like a little boost to help you get to those bigger ones. Yeah, see.